Guys, this is exciting. I am interviewing Ross D Seymour. He
More believable in the
Yeah,
technology.
like it matters more. I'm sorry, I have to say it
Yeah.
matters more. See, yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, like, so if flash forward from childhood and enjoying that with my dad, but my first real life experience, and I always I always kind of now in my age I embrace it, but I always kind of denied my tech geek.
Really?
My tech sci-fi geek. Well, because I
Yeah,
was a martial artist,
yeah, yeah, Mr.
certified
Marine,
marine,
Mr.
and then a
Tough
marine.
Guy.
Yeah, yeah, so it's like I'm a cowboy, all this stuff, right? So
Right,
it's like
right.
I'm the tough guy. I'm not some geeky nerd, but you know
Yeah,
what? I'm a geeky nerd.
yeah,
And
I
so,
love it.
and so
That's
I do
great.
cosplay with my kids and all that stuff, and
Yeah,
they're in their 30s, so
right.
But but uh, but going back, my first real world experience with Star Trek was I went to
Yeah,
a convention in Dothan, Alabama, of all places, a tiny little town, but it was outside of where the flight school is there,
right.
and I went to a Star Trek convention. And it was a tiny little town in a tiny little convention. But I do you remember the Saturday Night Live skit with William Shatner? And he's like, life.
Oh,
He's
yeah, I did. I
like,
did a video. I think I did two videos on it. I've written prior. I've written like Substacks or articles. I know it's such a landmark, and there's no way when you really look at that skit, it is hilarious, and it is no way truly demeaning. It's just funny. It's
oh no,
fun.
no, it's not. But
It
you
is.
have to embrace it. So what
Yeah.
I'm going. Do I really want to go to a Star Trek
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see
convention?
what you're
Like,
saying. You're right. Right. Exactly.
yeah, yeah. And so I
Yeah.
went because I'm a super Trekkie, and
Yeah.
I go and George Takei was there,
Nice.
and he's doing his he gets up on stage and literally and this was a little bit of figuring it out. But literally, everybody was dressed up as their favorite characters. They literally were asking those questions like that.
Right. 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 Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
oh my God,
I
this is
love it.
real. It's really like that.
Right. Well, those writers, right? The SNL writers, obviously, probably most, or I'd say some, had to be fans. They either had gone to conventions or did some research as well. Right? It's so great.
Oh yeah,
It's so great.
yeah.
Right.
Well, and I got to party with Michael Dorn in the back in the
Nice.
Hollywood days. He's a really nice guy. Yeah,
Nice.
I met him, actually met him through Tim Allen. And
Nice, Tim.
he's
Wow.
a really
Cool.
nice guy. I
Yeah.
really and I love to be on the show. That's like the gold standard, I think, for an actor like me is like I'll wear the red shirt. Sign me
Wow.
up right
Nice.
now.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to say, all throughout the career, did you ever try? Of course, you probably maybe wanted to audition, but you never did. You never did, or for Trek?
Well, we've talked about this
Yeah.
before. I'm really not a big shot. I'm kind of a day player, right?
Yeah. But
So I never really had that level of agent that was getting me those
yeah.
those
Yeah.
auditions.
Right.
So I ended up when I was there, my momentum was commercials. I booked some Coors Light and paid. That's like a lottery, winning the lottery as an actor, and then a lot of TV work, and then which segued from the stand-in and the stuntman stuff, and my stunt capabilities always ended up getting me little roles in little movies and a lot of independent stuff.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, I wish I would have auditioned for Star Trek. That would have been great. I would have
Right.
loved to have been on the show.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's so funny because when you look at, as you know, the levels, like you said, levels, day players, even say backgrounders, extras, guest stars, support. I mean, there's so many different titles, but it's really cool
Yeah.
because with my episode, with my next gen, the co-writing credit is Mr. Spike Steingasser, and he was one of the main stunt coordinators and stuntmen on Next Gen, right? And it's so neat. And then
Nice.
it's so cool, but this is even cooler. Then he wrote a Deep Space Nine like I did. It wasn't mine. If it would have been mine too, that would have been wild as hell. But then he did his Deep Space Nine, and I saw his credit again. I'm like, yeah, me and Spike. It's cool. Yeah. So again, point taken about maybe your tier in terms of your agent and your level, maybe, but you definitely could have gotten maybe like a 1-2 part. What a speaking role.
It's really,
Yeah, just saying.
yeah, it's really being in the right place, right
Yeah, but it's
time.
hard. I make it so easy.
That
I guess it's
business.
hard. Yeah, true. Yeah, right. But so right. You're saying it just never came up. You never really pursued. You would have liked it, but you just never pursued it, right? Yeah, it never came up.
Gosh,
Yeah.
back in the day, I'd take any role. But
Yeah,
if I would have had my pick, it would have been cool stuff like Star Trek
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. What about like you say Babylon 5? I mean, there's so many other. I mean, I love Babylon 5, Outer Limits. I'm just saying any other. What I'm saying is, did you ever do any other sci-fi or pursue any auditions for any sci-fi? No, just did never do.
I think that I've had auditions for sci-fi
Yeah.
shows. I typically cast. I always cast as the tough guy, FBI agent,
right.
cowboy, that kind of stuff.
Right,
so
right.
it would play right in.
Yeah.
But I just never had the opportunity. I never, obviously it's it's funny that there's some etiquette. I talked about, meeting Michael Dorn, and it's not like when you're at a party in Hollywood with Michael Dorn, you're like, hey, dude, can you get me a part?
Oh, yeah. He'd probably go like, right, he'd probably go, excuse me, I got, they don't like,
walk away,
they don't
right?
like that shit,
so,
no, yeah.
So there's how much do you whore yourself out, and then, and again, it's right place, right time. I did work on a lot of things that I met people out, and we vibed, and then they called me to work on a film.
Nice.
And so a lot of independent stuff, a lot of stuff that ended up on the cutting room floor. That's
right, sure, yeah.
Pretty normal in the business.
Yeah.
I got to tell you though, I have a friend, and he was on Next Gen like in the 80s, and his name was Peter Neptune. I don't know if you...
I think vaguely, yeah. What did he play? Do you remember? Or?
Oh, gosh. It's been so long. He was only on a few one show, or maybe a few shows, but it was the highlight of his life.
Nice.
And when I met him was later in life, and he's a sommelier and owned a wine training program for people. And
wow.
But boy, when somebody would mention Star Trek, him on Star Trek, he would light up.
Nice. You mean like they actually recognize, like if they recognized him, like?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
They knew that about him, and he was never shy about bragging about it. But
cool.
Of course.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, because it's an interesting, cool, and definitely not a common name. Peter Neptune, like the planet, right? Neptune. So I'm trying. Yeah,
Neptune, like the planet.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking just because it's such a kind of cool, non-common name. But I think I did because I'm a real credit. Even before I wrote for it, all my life. Like I know you and I have a big Little House on the Prairie connection there. I love it. I am an unabashed bonnet head. So mock me and mock Ross too. So mock us both. But I'm saying, like, I even back then, I remember loving to see Michael Landon wrote and directed. I'm like, this dude keeps writing these. I'm like, I was just shocked. And then Twilight Zone. Probably after Star Trek. It's a hard call because I love so much sci-fi. It's Twilight Zone. Oh my god! And he was like the Michael Landon of Twilight Zone. Rod Serling. He just wrote like 90 of them. Just kept writing them. Right? It's amazing. Oh, wow. Yeah. So, but it's funny. I do kind of have a bit. You say you're low tier. I mean, yeah. I've got some nice credits with Trek, but I'm no Rod Serling, no Michael Landon. But I'm saying people will come to me like you said about Dorn at a party, and they'll go, "Oh, Will, here's my Star Trek." So I'm like, dude, I try to be nice. I'm like, please, I have nothing to do with it anymore. I'm just a viewer like you. I mean, I'd love to maybe write again for it. It'd be great in one way, but please, right. And I don't get mad.
You back. That would be an homage.
Thank you. Well, it's neat. Some of my subs, there's 1, 2, or 3. They're like, you gotta write it. You gotta write. It would be better. I'm like, thanks. You guys are too fun and too kind. But yeah, I know. We'll see. But I mean, again, that is a good segue here. You ready? This is a really good segue. What do you think? And again, just honest opinion. I've made my honest opinion very much known. I think we've discussed about. I don't want to disparage Star Trek, but new Trek, PP Trek, whatever, the new era. I mean, when I say sometimes new Trek or PP Trek, people go, "Oh my God, you're mocking." It's Paramount Plus Trek. You can think I'm being like PP, like you're an okay, I get. But PP Trek, new whatever. But I'm just saying, I just think it has failed on so many levels. That said, and I think we did agree, of course, is Strange New Worlds is fine. In fact, it's more than watchable.
Yeah, I like it.
It's more than watchable. It's actually pretty damn good at times. But then I'll say, and I got to, There's one thing I'm opinionated in Star Trek. Is that all that is Star Trek. It is just Star Trek back in the day. It is just exactly what Gene Roddenberry created, though it's been, dressed up, or it's been, modernized. And of course they have new. I love Carol Kane. I mean, there are new characters that are great. Carol Kane is a new one. She's awesome. She almost deserves a spin-off. She's amazing. So, okay.
Well, I enjoy it. First of all, I love the actor. He's,
Anson Mount, the main dude.
Yeah, he's great.
He's good.
If you watched Hell on Wheels, he was amazing.
Yeah, he's good. He's very good.
And as Pike, it's cool. I love the lore. A little bit of the unbelievability that I like about it is the tech is way better than what it would have been. So,
sure.
like if you, and we talked about the size of the rooms. The bridge and his quarters are like the size of the old ship.
Right. It's like the size of the bridge. Fucking right. I know. And again,
as
it's
far as the storylines and treading that line of we've talked about this. I watch fiction for entertainment, not to be educated, not to be told things, and so they are telling good stories. They're checking off some of the modern boxes that are, kind of the thing these days, but they do it in a subtle way that it doesn't remove from the story. And I think the stories are really good. I love that it's, of course, knowing that it's Pike and knowing that I'm watching kind of that origin story almost. I like it. I think it's really well done.
Yeah, I have to watch more. I've watched probably about more than a full season, like maybe 14, or I think the seasons are 15 episodes. I probably watched maybe 20. So I have a really good appreciation, and I've watched it. Discovery, Picard, all these others. Wow, grudgingly, I'd watch 8 episodes and all. And look, again, Stranger Worlds is head and shoulders is warp speed above that quality. And again, we could go into so many reasons why Discovery and Picard have failed. Now Starfleet, and again, that's just not me. Just not me. There are so many people that agree. And again, if you like it, it's fine. I have a buddy.
Well, I tried with Picard. I actually remembered that I had watched it at some point, but never finished it. Never got to season. I think it's 2 seasons at least.
No,
right?
3. Yeah, 3. It's 3 seasons.
3. Okay, So I'm like, well, I need to. Now that I was kind of back into Strange New World, I'm kind of back into the Star Trek stuff. I was like, let me revisit Picard, and I still couldn't get through it.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. And again, look, I don't know anyone. I know that some of the names from back in the day, because some of them did Brian Fuller with the Discovery, and of course the great Nicholas Meyer. And there's some people that kind of came from, sort of classic Next Gen, but not many. But I'm saying, so I know they're trying. I know they're not trying to, make a bad show, or should I say? A Star Trek that just is not like Star Trek? I gotta say it. There's so many.
It felt like they leaned on the nostalgia and not on the story.
Right, and when they do it in a way of like it's not even, I think, even respecting or even in an integrated way. They're like, oh, here's something from the old show, from Next Gen, and then blah blah, and then they go into the new stuff. I don't know. There was that one they went to. It's like a holographic museum, or it's like a museum, like a space station, and if Starfleet, whatever, Federation space station, and it's got all these artifacts of from classic days and important stuff. And they had the I love him, is that Daniel Davis from The Nanny, but he played Moriarty, the evil hologram of Sherlock Holmes from Next Gen. He was there. He was there, all kind of bottled up, and there's so many things wrong with that, Ross. Like, I'm just saying, there's so many things wrong. I love they got a check. I love that, in a way, you saw him again. But the last we saw him, he was in a special module, protected. And why would he come out of that? And why would he be raving and trying to kill? It's like, what are you doing? And again,
disconnected pieces,
right? And it's only for the objective and the target of what you're trying to accomplish in that plot. Or I understand that, but it's so retconned. And so divorced and detached from sort of classic and backstory, whatever reality. So yeah, That's basically where I am. Yeah. And again, I love that they all got their due again. They all got nice checks for season 3. All the next geners, the crew came back. Then I did a video I did a video on all the ones they killed. So they killed Michelle Forbes as Ensign Rowe. They killed Elizabeth. I love her. She's Brian. Brian Dennehy's daughter, Elizabeth Dennehy. She played Shelby, the great gal in Best of Both Worlds. She clashed with Riker. They killed her off. So Icheb, the Borg boy. So they brought them back. And, we're just going to kill you because that way people will go, oh, my God. To me, that is just, come on. It's so completely, talk about transparent or shameless.
It's parlor tricks. It's parlor
tricks. There you go. It's spoken like a great magician. Right. It's complete parlor tricks. It's complete, we know you like these characters, so we're going to bring them back and we're going to get rid of them. That's it. Because we can't. Right. We can't kill Michael Dorn and Patrick Stewart and Jonathan Frakes because they're too main and important. We can't kill them. We'll kill you now.
So here's the big question.
Okay.
Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get a Strange New Worlds, or are we gonna get a Picard? What are we getting?
Whoa! This is your interview, but now Will's on the spot. But I'll tell you, oh my God, I made maybe 4 or 5 videos. In the beginning, I did have those high hopes, and I did, optimistic, whatever. The more I see, but this is the real sticking point. I think I made 2. I made 2 on this alone. To really home it in. It is, I dare, look, to be kind of maybe funny and glib, it is a kiddie show. It is a young adult show. I don't know if you're aware of that. And that's why I made 2 videos, many did not. And then I ran a poll on the channel. They didn't know that this is aimed to well under 18. This is Beverly Hills 90210 in space. This is Degrassi High. This is Harry. There. And again, nothing wrong with it. To be honest, I was always, I guess, precocious. That's why at 4 years old, I'm watching Star Trek. I'm like, the fuck. So I was saying, I never took to any of those shows. I have yet to see a full episode of Beverly Hills 90210. Nothing wrong with it. But I don't like Harry Potter. I don't like Degrassi High. I don't like, we could keep going. And again, so you can say, well, what is that? I understand demographic calculations. I understand fans getting old, like me, like my buddies. We're all graying out. Okay. But that's still, someone brought up a good point on my channel. Sub said, you do not have to do this. I started watching very young. Like I said, I watched at 4. This guy said I started watching, I think, at 9, meaning, maybe old series or Next Generation, and we loved it. You do not have to do that. And it's funny, look at Next Generation. You've got Wesley, you've got Will Wheaton, which no, smearing on him, but that character never truly took hold. They did do better by him, though. They, by the second, third, they really.
He was pretty flat. I mean, I like him as an actor, but he was pretty flat in that show. It was
Agreed.
It was very straight. And
Agreed.
Very boring.
There's some moments where he rises because it's the good writing, and he talks about his deceased father and how Captain Picard had to break the news to him and Beverly Crusher, the mom. That stuff is good when he does that. But then other things, it's like he's always been a good actor, but as Wesley, I'm like, you're not. It's a combination of the writing, I guess, and his his acting, whatever, or his approach to the character, I think.
Well, I'm always hopeful. We talked about Doctor Who a little bit, and there were doctors that I didn't like in the beginning, and that grew on me. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm always like with a new Star Trek show being literally my favorite, sci-fi tech.
Right.
Is I'm always hopeful of something really good, and I watched the 5-minute video teaser for Starfleet Academy, and I mean, they've got such great talent in there. I'm not buying the Holly Hunter character and kind of bugged a little bit.
She's like, and I've always liked Holly. I'm like,
I love her. No, I love her as an actress. I think she's really good in what she does. Yeah. But this one, I didn't feel it. Like I was kind of like, she does. Maybe it's that I expect more of a Janeway, like strong, authoritative kind of a vibe, and Holly Hunter trying to do that, it wasn't selling me on it.
Yeah.
And again, it's only a 5-minute teaser, and what do you expect? They want to showcase their talent.
Right. It's a pilot. It's a teaser from a pilot Which is even more to say, because, the pilot, the first episode or so, is going to be pretty embryonic. It's going to be, a little, searching for meaning to get its footing. No, I know. But again, I couldn't believe, right, how kind of hollow it left me. The only thing, and I love him, and he was good, Giamatti, as the villain. Okay,
Giamatti's the
best. He was great in one way, but I'm sorry. Or I kept, in my video, and it's doing gangbusters. It's one of my most popular videos of the past, year. I kept going, origami chicken. It's ridiculous dialogue. Look, I understand he's supposed to be a colorful character, and I guess it's colorful and a little funny in one way. I thought it was very kind of embarrassing in another. It's funny. There's a shot when he's walking around, or to the side, he's got a fade with the tic-tac-toe board in his fade. This is, look, you can. Oh, and then he goes, "Payback's a bitch." Like, are you kidding me?
That was weird. Yeah, weird. I don't appreciate the slang that doesn't fit.
Right, because what it's doing.
I would say this. I think the first part of seeing him in his full regalia in this show is the first thing that we as consumers are doing is going, oh look, it's the Sideways guy.
Wow, my favorite movie of all time, maybe. I love that movie. Yeah,
so I think that almost takes you out a little bit,
right?
And I think they're gonna need some time on the character development for us to buy him as that character,
right?
I think it's seeing him out of his element is weird, and in 5 minutes they can't
right, and I think right, and what's really interesting, this really kind of completely dovetails and connects to one of the biggest problems with new Trek, with PP Trek, with the new stuff, is that taking races and completely merging them. And again, you can do that. I mean, it's a great tradition. Spock, of course, the hybrid, the human and the Vulcan, and then you had B'Elanna Torres as a half Klingon, half a human. Right? You have of course, we know this, but for example, there's a Jem'Hadar. Okay, this is one. The Jem'Hadar female, who's the con officer, I guess, and Holly Hunter's next to her, and the other woman, and they're looking, whatever, and they're talking about the status. There's no Jem'Hadar females. It's a genetically created race in a lab of the founders from Deep Space Nine. Look, I understand it's 900 years in the future, 900 years from Next Gen era, and I don't know if you're aware of that too. It's almost 1,000 years into the future.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's crazy. So okay, so a lot can happen in 900, even 90 years, even 9 years. Okay. But there's no, there's a couple lines in Deep, truly one of my favorites, not just because I wrote, Next Gen and Descent and then old series. The point is, there are no females in the Jem'Hadar. They're just not. And what you do is when you take that away, again, agree or not, it is not the uniqueness leaves. It would be like saying the Vulcans all of a sudden become all stand-up comedians. This is dumb, okay? The Ferengi become NBA basketball players. This is not... All right, again, someone on my channel brought up, well, wouldn't it be great, or isn't it great that the founders let the Jem'Hadar go, because it's like a slave race. It's their police, their military slave race that they created. Okay, and that so they let them go and they gave them chicks. Okay, I guess I could kind of see that, but in a purely dramatic way, and in a purely sort of honoring the past way, and you could argue that it's a way of limiting a race, and that therefore makes it stronger or more story possibilities. Like, for example, maybe during Starfleet Academy, they start to create the female Jem'Hadar. Oh, maybe that. But also, boom, she's there, I'm female, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and she's got a Scottish accent, my friend, a Scottish accent. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
That goes against, so you're talking about the canon,
And I know I'm getting deep, but it's hard for me not to.
I feel like if they're looking for a new audience, it seems like they do this often, they kind of completely ignore the canon, and they go a completely different direction.
Retconning.
I hate that.
Right, that's my favorite word with all these new shows. Retconning, conning, right? Retroactive changing, right? Yeah. Conning, right. It is, and again, there's nothing wrong. Meaning, or there's nothing intrinsically wrong in some way. Like, you can play with that. As a fan and writer, I would write something in a script and try to maybe almost revise, not truly retcon, but go, oh, this is because of this, this and that, whatever, and I go, and maybe they could respond to that. But when you do it in such a truly sort of foundational way, then it's a problem, right? And again, it's not one time; it happens all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't, and it's not just Star Trek. If you look, for me, I look at the Marvel universe, and I grew up reading the comics, and I was really into into it as they changed a lot of things that weren't authentic to the storylines, but it was somewhat acceptable because the entertainment value was there. But then they create the multiverse. And so
exactly.
And they lost me with the multiverse, because literally anything and anybody can happen anytime, anywhere, in any configuration now.
Right.
Well, so that you give them now permission,
right,
to change everything, and it's okay, because it can all happen at the same time all the time.
Right. Like Star Trek. Remember the Abrams movie? They did the Kelvin and the Prime universe. And look, I'm geeky enough, and as a Star Trek writer as well, like I could appreciate that. But that's why, we could do anything because it's Kelvin. It's not really your universe. Right? Come on. And again, they didn't make a huge sticking point. They maybe once or twice in a film, or you're just aware of it. I can understand the needs. And back then, actually, people forget there was a legal battle because CBS had the TV rights and Paramount Studios had the movie rights. They weren't fully integrated as a company. It's a wacky thing that I even had forgotten. And then people remember, I'm like, oh, that's right. So it's a weird thing. And this is really strange. And I wish I bookmarked it. I did, or maybe there was an article, and it certainly does stand. The copyrights of original series, I think, will lapse in, like, is it 8 years, or by 2026? We might as well say, I think 2032. So a lot of things they're doing now, they're protecting their copyright. It's wild. So you get Strange New Worlds. They're reintroducing Kirk again and all, and but there's going to come a time that literally anyone can do anything with the old series. That's it. It's going to be in another 10 or 12 years. Well, within reason, you can pretty much.
Are we going to talk about Captain Kirk and Strange New World?
Sure. Oh, if you want. I mean, oh my. Again, I love Paul Wesley as an actor. I really think he's miscast.
He's a great actor.
He really just. I mean, look, there was moments like, he's Kirk, or he's okay, but I just again, it's unfair because he's a good young actor. He got a role. I wish him well. But I would. Chris Pine I loved, so there you go.
Chris Pine, everything about Chris Pine resembled Shatner so much in his role.
Yeah, but never mocked it, right? Never truly mocked it, right?
I got it.
Right, and never impersonated, right? He was just another good version of Kirk in a way, whatever, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't impersonating him. He wasn't, and again, I'm not saying Wesley really is, but I don't know what you'd make of it. It's kind of weird.
But it almost like, so to me, as an actor, if I was going to play a character who was already a character, already established character with his own isms, I would work really hard to replicate that. Yeah. And I feel like his character, he was kind of left to just do it however he wanted to do it and not follow any of the Kirkisms at all.
Right. There you go.
It's weird because none of them exist.
Thank you, and that's
it's almost like an anti-Kirk character.
Right. Yeah, but it's interesting. Go ahead.
Wussified version.
Right. There you go. And I guess we could say that's a lot of things they do in New Trek today or new shows. They try to, you can't be toxic male, so you can't be that. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can't be that masculine or sort of, heroic. I gotta say,
it's kind of now it's kind of refreshing to have that.
Yeah, you could argue it. Yeah, but for Kirk. But for Kirk, I wonder, that's a thing. It's one thing to have it for others. I would agree, maybe new characters are, but for Captain Kirk, Mr. Savior of the, I'm just saying, Mr. Cowboy Diplomacy and Mr. Ladies Man, and it's like shit, I don't know, yeah, but we're really getting close to the, because I know we can definitely do a ton more another time. But let me, the final minute or two, again, riff it out. Favorite character or favorite show or even favorite episode, Star Trek, or any come
Gosh,
to
favorite.
I know that's a really hard one, episode. Or
pick a favorite. That is really tough. I really liked the whole, Khan back in the old school original Star Trek.
That's a great one.
And I really couldn't pick a favorite in Next Gen. I loved Next Gen, and then Deep Space Nine was so complex, and then they kind of went crazy with some of the other stuff. But I'm really, I'm going to really hang on, the Pike Strange New Worlds. I'm hopeful that Starfleet Academy resembles more of that, or at least some more old school Deep Space Nine kind of stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I'll take a look. I'll definitely take a look. We'll both be looking, but I gotta thank you, Ross, because again, it literally is over here with the time. But we'll definitely we'll definitely do. God, we could do one or two more just on Trek, and I want to thank you, and I want to tell you to, of course, what? Live long and prosper.
Yeah, live long and prosper, my friend.
Thanks a lot, my friend. Take care.